refined realmstone and chemicals of the deep, arcane energies and the riches of the peaks. Thus do we fashion the heirlooms that will see us reign in perpetuity. Thus do we tap the power of the mortal realms themselves and forge a bright future for our people that will outshine the stars of Azir. We are blessed, my people, blessed, and so it shall be until time passes out of all memory and the last night claims us all.
King Cruciban Jurenstein II.
Carrion Empire. Part 1. Dynasty of Artisans.
During the Age of Myth, there arose an empire of gifted artisans deep within Shamon, the realm of metal. The enchanted artifacts its people created were worth more than entire kingdoms. Yet, in the end, these works would lead to the ruin of their makers. Shamon, the realm of metal, is vast beyond mortal imaginings. It is a place of transmutation and alchemy, of precious ores, endless riches, and enduringly powerful magic. Rocky islands bristling with groves of ironquill and golden leaf rise from quicksilver oceans, through which swim caustic spitfish and steam-driven leviathans. Continental landmasses rotate around one another in a stately dance of centuries, their coastlines interlocking perfectly like cogs in some cyclopean machine. Mountain ranges stretch for thousands of miles, rich with seams of precious minerals found nowhere else in all of reality, while floating islands drift amidst the clouds and rain molten metal upon the lands below. Even before the coming of Sigmar, Shamon, that was as rewarding as it was dangerous to those who settled it. For every acidic lake, unstable geothermal fissure, or ironclad rust monster to be feared, there was a fortune in precious stones to be claimed, an incredible power source to be tapped, or a secret of metallurgical lore to be unlocked. When the God King walked amongst the mortal tribes of Shamon and raised them up to true civilization, he found people who were already sharp of mind and deft of hand. The Shamonite tribes forged weapons, armor, and war engines to drive back greenskin raiders and hungry beasts. They illuminated the night with alchemical light globes, preserved their foodstuffs with chemical agents, and delved deep into the lands around them to increase their wealth. Humans and Duardin maintained close and mutually beneficial alliances in many regions, each elevating the other through the sharing of knowledge and expertise. It is unsurprising, then, that with the aid of Sigmar and the Panthelon, the tribes and burgeoning kingdoms of Shamon exploded almost overnight into glittering sprawls of enlightenment, wealth, and civilization. Located at the northern edge of the region now known as the Carrick Heartlands, the Metallurgican Empire began as a scattering of walled settlements separated by sprawling forest, deep rivers, and the beast-haunted crags of Lackshelter peaks. Though the names of the individual villages are long since lost to the ravages of time, it is known that they already formed a loose alliance before the coming of Sigmar. The villages had united beneath the banner of a particularly courageous and skilled human family known as the Jurensteins, whose skill at smithing was unmatched. Not only did this clan arm and armour their neighbours in return for trade goods and fealty, but their patriarch, Omnori Durenstein, led successful purges of the wild places between the villages. By the time true civilization swept across the spiral crux, Omnori's daughter, Alemnica, had been named the first queen of what had become a large, stable, and prosperous domain, and so the Kingdom of Metallurgica was born. Legend has it that Sigmar came to Metallurgica in person, and the smith in him was much impressed with the craft of its industrious people. Some stories have it that the God King appeared before the Queen in a garb of a simple blacksmith, the better to gauge the true worth of her court and her people. Others say he arrived in full stately panoply, and was impressed to be met by a deeply respectful delegation, rather than a huddle of awed village elders. Whatever the truth, Sigmar imparted secrets of alchemical and industrial sorcerous lore to the rulers of Metallurgica. He further left several trusted Duardin craftmasters as advisors to Queen Durenstein. Along with their clansmen, they established the fortified hold of Kars Nagand and began digging deep mines throughout the kingdom. What followed was a boom in civilization that saw Metallurgica flourish and the Durensteins extend their rules for hundreds, then thousands of miles around them. Villages grew into towns, towns became cities, cities merged into an enormous conurbation named Durenberg. New lands were conquered, and more settlements rose, alongside enormous forge fortresses and colleges of alchemical lore and learning. By the time King Phylactor Durenstein III came to power, Metallurgica had become the centre of a thriving empire, the fortified boundaries of which stretched from Bladebreaker Bay to the Crystal Isle. Raiders, monsters, and bandits were all but unheard of within its bounds, and though political tensions regularly arose between the Duardin Forge Council, the Guild of Alchemists, and the Royal Artisans of Durenberg, the Empire was by and large a peaceful and remarkably prosperous place. A great part of the success of Metallurgica could be attributed to the artisanal skills of its rulers. Since the earliest days of the kingdom, when Sigmar graced them with his presence and knowledge, the Durenstein line had maintained a tradition of incredible craftsmanship. Many said that it was a divine gift, that the ability to fashion beautiful and powerful artifacts ran through the very veins of the Durenstein family. The Durensteins recorded the secrets of each artifact within a single tome, named the Book of Heirlooms, which they kept under lock and key. It was said, so long as a Durenstein held the throne and graced the empire with their near-mythical skills of ensorcelled craftsmanship, Metallurgica would never fail. While the empire itself was rich in those who could smith and engineer, those who could brew alchemical agents and construct intricate mechanisms, the skills of the Durenstein family went far beyond this, into the territory of true magic. As a test of their right to rule, each new heir to the throne was expected to fashion an enchanted item of great power that would then become their symbol of rulership upon their coronation. It was believed that the more potent the enchantments within the artifact, the more beautiful its craftsmanship, the more auspicious the encumbrance reign would be. Magical swords, axes and spears, enchanted helms, shields, or entire suits of armor, ensorcelled scepters, standards, mirrors, brooches, rings, necklaces, All these and countless more remarkable items were fashioned over the years, not only as coronation heirlooms, but by Durenstein regents who simply loved to hone their craft and create even more magnificent artifacts with which to enrich their line. At the heart of Durenberg, the royal seat of power, rose the Palace of Miracles. Within lay treasure chambers filled with enchanted heirlooms, and the Arasanctum that played host to incredibly elaborate artifice engines used by the Durensteins to fashion their magic items. It was rare indeed that an original Durenstein piece was traded away, but such was the reputation of the royal family's craftsmanship that entire alliances and even territorial annexations could be achieved through the promise of such a divine gift. At the same time, the Durenstein heirlooms made the Empire's armed forces a truly terrifying prospect to fight. Many foolhardy warlords and rival civilizations attempted invasion in the hope of ransacking Durenberg and claiming the vast haul of artifacts for themselves. Yet, with 2 or 3 Durensteins leading each martial response and wielding the mighty heirlooms of their ancestor kings and queens, every such invasion was repelled without mercy. The Durenstein family sent many great armies and noble warriors to fight in Sigmar's wars against the encroachment of chaos. They battled alongside the warriors of the Pantheon of Order, and their enchanted weapons helped to swing many conflicts in their favor, earning the admiration of their peers. It was during these battles that the doom of Metallurgica was sealed, for even as they fought bravely against the hordes to their fore, the Durensteins could not know that our vicious eyes studied them from amidst the ranks of their allies.